Hi, my name's Megan and welcome to the channel. Now, regardless of where you live in the world, I have no doubt that you have heard of the coronavirus outbreak. It's pretty clear that all non-essential travel to China should be avoided, but you may be wondering about travel in general as the virus continues to spread. On today's video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on traveling during the current epidemic, as well as give you an update on whether or not I will still be traveling to Vietnam in the next couple weeks.
The alarming new headline as the coronavirus outbreak worsens.
More than 37,000 people affected worldwide. At least 812 people have died, mostly in mainland China.
Health officials now confirming more than 800 fatalities, surpassing the total death toll in the entire SARS pandemic.
I have no intention of traveling to China, and I would advise anyone who is traveling to China to seriously reconsider. But I also have some doubts and fears around traveling to Southeast Asia in general. Southeast Asian countries were some of the first to be affected by the virus spread outside of China. This makes a lot of sense, and I could definitely see the risk being higher in Southeast Asia than it would be in a country like Canada or the US, given the proximity to China as well as the population density. One of the factors I'm considering in making the decision as to whether I should travel or not at this time is my own personal risk. As a healthy 25-year-old, even if I were to contract the coronavirus, given the information available at the moment, it would likely be a mild case that I would be able to recover from quickly. If I was 30 years older, then maybe I'd be more concerned about contracting the virus myself, as I would be for other viruses like the common flu, which are going to affect someone with a suppressed immune system or that is elderly more than it would someone that is young and healthy. In addition to the health risks to myself, there is a long list of other things that I'm considering in making the decision as to whether I should travel or not. Increasing travel restrictions, making air travel an absolute nightmare at the moment, or the situation worsening while I'm on the ground in Vietnam and not being able to get a flight out. There's also a risk for general unrest or uproar from the locals if they're not happy with the way the local government is handling the situation or not happy with the quarantines or lockdowns that may be affecting the city. There's potential for me to be quarantined myself on my return back home to Canada. Or, even worse, if I returned to Canada, was asymptomatic, but actually carrying the coronavirus with me, I could be infecting other people that would be at more risk if they did contract the virus. And then there's just the ethical question of potentially furthering the spread of this virus by making the decision to travel. Based on all of this information, you may be wondering if I'm still planning to leave for Vietnam in a couple weeks and then spending 2 months living in Da Nang as I had originally planned. Yes, at the moment I am still planning on going, but I'm taking precautions that I have never taken for any trip in the past. The first being that I have not booked anything, and I do not plan to book anything, including my flights, until up to 2 or 3 days prior to my actual departure. For such a big trip, Ottawa all the way to Vietnam, I would recommend that you book your flights no later than 6 weeks before you plan to leave. Once you pass that 6-week mark, the flights are usually only getting more expensive. But I would rather the peace of mind knowing I can make a decision based on the most up-to-date information, even though I know it's likely going to cost me several $100s more for these flights. In addition to choosing to pay more by waiting until the last minute to actually book my flights, I will pay more to not book a flight that connects through a Chinese airport. I'm also waiting to see if any areas outside of China end up with local outbreaks, and then I would avoid layovers in those cities as well. I'm additionally willing to pay more for flights with fewer layovers, so I'm not going through multiple airports where you would naturally be exposed to a lot of people from all over the world. I'm paying special attention to flights that have only one layover on the west coast of either Canada or the US before flying directly into Southeast Asia. Even if we were to take the coronavirus completely out of the equation here, airports and airplanes are still prime places for you to get sick. These are some of the precautions I'll be taking if I do decide to travel to Vietnam in 2 weeks. First off, I will be going on Amazon and getting a face mask. Now please, if I was staying in Canada, I would not do this. And if you, fellow Canadians and American citizens, are in a relatively unaffected area, please reconsider before you go online and purchase a face mask for yourself.
As fears over the coronavirus have led to the scarcity of masks worldwide, the World Health Organization has called for international cooperation and to refrain from stockpiling masks.
claiming that medical workers are facing shortages of protective equipment.
Don't contribute to this shortage if you don't need to. There's also a lot of research out there that is saying that these masks are not effective at protecting yourself from the virus. I agree with a lot of this research, but when it comes to plane travel, I feel like having one on is not going to hurt, and at the very least, it's going to stop me from unnecessarily touching my nose and my mouth with my hands that will be absolutely covered in germs after traveling through the airport and onto the airplane. In addition to a mask deterring me from touching my face and spreading germs from my hands to my body, it will also make me think twice before I go to eat any food. This means I won't be mindlessly walking through the airport snacking on almonds, forgetting that I should be heavily sanitizing and washing my hands before eating any food. I'll be doing everything I can to keep my immune system strong by eating well, getting enough sleep, taking extra vitamin C, and then also taking echinacea supplements. I'll also avoid caffeine on the day of travel as well as on the plane, and then I'll be bringing with me melatonin, herbal tea, eye mask, and earplugs so I have my best shot at getting quality sleep and not suppressing my immune system further by being overtired. I'll be bringing my own nutritious food on the airplane because the meals that are served are often loaded with sodium and preservatives, and they're not going to leave you feeling great or be helping your immune system or jet lag recovery in any way. I'll additionally be avoiding any alcohol. Wine may help you fall asleep, but it's also going to dehydrate you and then likely disrupt your sleep later on. Flying in general already dehydrates you, so adding a sodium-rich meal and then alcohol to the mix is probably not the best idea. Finally, I'll be washing my hands thoroughly and as frequently as possible, as well as using hand sanitizer. I'll also be packing with me disinfectant wipes so I can wipe down areas that are prone to germs like the seatback table on the airplane. In addition to taking these precautions into consideration, something else I highly recommend you check out is a free course that's been released on the WHO website. The World Health Organization recently put out a full free course that's going to educate you on the current coronavirus as well as ways that you can protect yourself. The entire course is animated and it's easy to understand, so you can get a better idea about what this virus is, where it's heading, where it came from, and how you can best protect yourself and your family. By this point in the video, you should have an idea of things that you can do to help protect yourself if you are traveling, but you may still be wondering if you should be traveling at all given the current state of the virus. The decision to travel is yours and no one can make it for you. If you have been planning to travel, regardless of where, and the news has scared you enough that you would not enjoy your trip, then definitely reconsider it. Stay informed, consider your own personal risk, and then also keep in mind the decline in tourist activity means that you may not be getting the experience you had originally hoped for. Traveling right now may not be the best idea for your own stress levels and for the experience you will have in the country that you're traveling to. The decision is yours to make, and regardless of your opinions, please be mindful about what you choose to share. There are plenty of posts that are circulating the internet with photos of Chinese markets or the ever-famous bat soup photo with blanket negative statements like, "Ew, look what Chinese people eat." Making the decision to share these photos is fueling xenophobia. This hurts people, and it certainly is not helping the situation. So come on, guys, we're better than that. Consider the impact you're having on someone who may not know where to find accurate information or who may not have access to it. Someone who is learning about this virus from news headlines and from social media. I remember 10 years ago bawling my eyes out and then refusing to go to school after reading headlines about the avian flu. I honestly thought it was the Black Plague re-emerging and that we were all going to die. I was a kid. I didn't think to question the headlines that I was reading or to verify their accuracy. I was taking it all at face value.
Because last week the cover of The Economist was rather clever. It was a globe with a surgical mask in the form of the Chinese flag on it.
If you are watching this and you're scared, that is totally valid. If you make the personal decision to do things like avoid Chinese restaurants or move seats when you get on the bus, fine. Just please be mindful about the opinions, the posts, and the photos that you choose to share because they may be affecting other people in ways that you were not intending.
Let me be clear. There is no place in our country for discrimination driven by fear or misinformation.
I hope this video was helpful in helping you decide whether or not you should reconsider travel during the coronavirus outbreak. If it was, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and then also let me know down in the comments if you will be reconsidering travel based on the current epidemic. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here again next week with another travel video. Bye!